Hello, Dolphin fans, and thank you for coming on the Miami Dolphins Mode channel. Today, I am going to speak over the mystery of the offensive line because that's what it looks like right now. It's a big mystery. Nobody knows really who's going to be starting on the offensive line except for Laremy Tunsil. Okay, so I'm just going to go right into it. All right, so first off, our offensive line, like I said before, is like a mystery. Nobody really knows who's going to start where except for Laremy Tunsil and maybe Daniel Gore, which is our center who was there last year. Before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about, what has happened in the last few years with the offensive line. We haven't had a good one, in a real long time. It's been a few years, at least 5. And even when we did have a good offensive line, we didn't have the offensive line was more of a pass protection type of offensive line. They were all right against the run, but they weren't really great against the run. They were more there to protect the quarterback because when Tannehill started his first 3 years, he got sacked more than any quarterback in the league. So we made an emphasis towards that. But when we got better in the pass blocking, right, our running game suffered. Okay, and the reason I bring that up now is because it looks like the people, at least for the very least, the people that they brought in to be on this year's offensive line, 2019, they look more of that they can run block, like they can run block better, right, than the previous offensive lines that we had before. All right, I think this is very important because you definitely have pass blocking offensive line, but when they're all better at pass blocking, like I said before, the running game, it hurts it, right? So you have to have at least like a nice little mix, right? Say you have a good pass blocking left tackle, at least have some guards that are good in the run block, right? Or have one side that's good in the run block and the pass, and then this way, it filters out better, right? It makes the offensive line better because they're more balanced. Right, so I'm not saying that right now we're more balanced. Obviously, it's a mystery of what this offensive line is going to be as of right now. But it does look like the people that they did bring in are heavy duty, like more in the trenches type of offensive linemen. And at least for that, I'm excited about that. In my eyes. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get right into it. Actually, one of the things is. New head coach, the new offensive line, the head coach. His name's Pat Flattery. He's been in the league for 19 years, coaching. 15 of those years, he's been the offensive line coach. He was the offensive line coach when the New York Giants, they won the Super Bowl both times. The one in 2007 and the one in 2011. He was the offensive line coach on those teams. So that's good to know. Also, he was the offensive line coach when the Jacksonville Jaguars, that's where we got him from. Last year, he was a coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But he was there when they made that run in Jacksonville when they went all the way to the AFC Championship game. Okay. So, and also, just another side note, he's been in the position coach on 5 division-winning teams, and he had 4 different players who have been selected to 9 Pro Bowls. All right, so that's a little bit of his resume, just so you know a little more in-depth stuff about the offensive line. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's just jump into the players. All right, first off, let's go with the offensive lineman that we all know that's going to start. Okay, Laremy Tunsil. All right, now Laremy Tunsil, last year he could have been in the Pro Bowl. I believe he did really good last year. And I believe that maybe he took a hit because he was with the Miami Dolphins. And because the offensive line was such a mess, that maybe that might have affected him from going to the Pro Bowl last year. But either way, I think that this year, if he continues the way that he did last year, he will be in the Pro Bowl because even though he didn't get selected, people still know about him. And once he does it for his second year, then you'll be more recognized. And the Pro Bowl is not about just people knowing you, but it is about your talent, of course. But it does affect it. It does affect when you're on not so good team, and your record isn't that great, and this affects it. But Laremy Tunsil, I mean, he's great against the pass blocking. All right, that's a great left tackle. We got him because of the video that came out right before the draft. We got him at a good pick. Never it's been a problem since that. There hasn't had one problem, so it's a great pick for us. And he's also good against the run. Better in the pass blocking, but it's still very effective against the run. He should be in the Pro Bowl this year, so you could say that for our left tackle, we're good. We have an elite left tackle. I believe this year he will be elite. All right. So the left tackle is a very important position on the offensive line. Okay. So then, and let's go to he's the left tackle. Okay. Now the left guard, it's open. Josh Sitton was there. He got injured last year and he retired this year. All right. I'm gonna insert Michael Deiter here. Right. Because him and Laremy Tunsil look like they would be a good match. Now Michael Deiter, we got him in the 3rd round. All right, he came from Wisconsin, which Wisconsin is a college or university that is known to make NFL offensive linemen. All right, that's what they're known. Wisconsin makes offensive linemen for the NFL. Right, he started every game since he was a freshman in college, which is I think he might have broken a record there, or something. The guy, he's very reliable. He started all the games. He is a grinder, man. He likes contact. He's not afraid of contact. Attracts himself to contact, which is awesome. That's what you need in a guard. You need a nasty guy. You need somebody who's gonna rough you up. Rough the guy up. Play a little nasty within the rules. Of course, but play a little nasty. Have a nasty streak to him because that's the middle of the line. That's where the big boys are. All right. Michael Deiter, I didn't know he was this big, but he's 6'6", 310 pounds. It's a big guard. It's a huge guard. Actually, it's like tackle size. He did play tackle, guard, and center in college, so he knows how to play all of them. But he's projected in the NFL to be more of a guard, right? But he's a big guy. Now, I did see him when he was in the Senior Bowl, right? And in the practices, he had some trouble. He had some trouble on one-on-ones, and that actually hurt his draft stock, because he was supposed to be second. Some people even said 1st round. We got him in the 3rd, right? And the reason why is because he didn't do so good on those one-on-ones, man. To be honest with you, and a lot of people were shocked. But remember, when you do one-on-ones, when an offensive lineman and a D lineman, they go one-on-one in practice, right? The D lineman has the advantage. He just has the advantage. It's not the same when in the game when everybody's rushing at the same time and everybody's playing together. It's just some type of advantage that the defensive lineman has. I'm not making an excuse, but I'm also just bringing that up, right? But he should be our left tackle. Left guard, I would think, because him and Laremy Tunsil would make a good pairing. It would make a nice pairing there if he's able to make it on the starting line. But as far as who we have, he should probably be one of the best as far as what we have right now. Okay? And maybe, he did start 4 seasons in Wisconsin. So hopefully he comes out good. Okay? Now let's move on. We got Daniel Gilgore. All right, Daniel Gilgore should be our starting center. He was our starting center last year. He played the first 2 games, and then he got hurt, right, for the rest of the season. He came over from San Francisco last year. Not last year, the year before. Okay? And so I have a question mark on Daniel Gilgore, right? Because first off, he only played 2 games, right? Second, he didn't do that well in those 2 games. He did average or, just good, right around there. You know what I mean? So there's not enough tape, and he didn't wow anyone with those 2 games, or, he didn't convince anybody with those 2 games that he should have been the starting center. All right, but like I say again, with the mystery of our offensive line, he right now he should be the starting center for the Dolphins. Okay. And then okay, so let's move on. Now we got Jesse Davis. Jesse Davis, he was the only one that played all 16 games last year on the offensive line. All right, he was the only one that made it through the whole season. He came into the league as a tackle, as a right tackle, or left tackle, or just a tackle, right, in general. But he in his first year he played tackle, but we need him. We had so many injuries that we needed him at guard, and he did okay the first year, and then last year he played guard the whole year, right? And it was a transition because he was mainly a tackle for like a few years, which is a big transition for a tackle to go into a guard, right? Or a guard going to a tackle, either way. A guard and a center isn't too much of a difference. Just you're snapping the ball, right? And you're in the middle. So there are some differences. But going from tackle to guard or guard to tackle, that's a big difference. That's a bigger difference. All right. But Jesse Davis, he was he was average, right? He was average, but he held his own, right? And for a guy, you could basically say that was his rookie season, right? Because he didn't play guard, not even in college, right? So, and I bet you he didn't play guard in high school. So, so I mean that's something to look forward. What if he and he could go back to tackle too? He doesn't have to stay at right guard, right? Especially with Jawan James leaving. Last year you could play tackle because we had Laremy Tunsil and Jawan James. Excuse me. But he could definitely go out to right tackle if we needed him there, right? And there's a reason why I'm bringing that up, and I'll get into it later. But Jesse Davis, if he stays at guard, it looks like he did good last year. He did average. He wasn't bad. He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad, right? And if he stays at guard, he's probably going to improve from year 1 to year 2 because things are just going to be easier for him. Especially after going through a whole year. This guy, he's a pretty big guy. He's 6'6", 325. Right, so if those are two guards, that's our left guard is 6'6", 310, and our right guard is 6'6", 325. The only thing is, they're big guys, but the thing is, in offensive, when you're a guard, it's you got to squat a little more, because you're in the middle. So sometimes it affects, the being the taller. You have to have a lot of bend in your knees, that's why usually the guards is a little shorter, a couple inches shorter. Right, but there are offensive linemen that are 6'6" and all that, So it just depends, but it's a little harder. That's all I'm saying. Okay, all right. So and that should be those four should be almost locked in, right? Left tackle, Laremy Tunsil, Michael Deiter, left tackle, and Daniel Gore is the center, Jesse Davis, the guard. Now here is where it fumbles up. I would say Laremy Tunsil, Michael Deiter, Daniel Gore should be placed right there. Now Jesse Davis is going to start, but where, right? Because we picked up Jordan Mills from the Buffalo Bills. Right, he was the right tackle for the Buffalo Bills, but he did not have a good season. Okay, he allowed a lot of hurries, he allowed a few sacks. He is not considered the starter. He has to earn that position. That's the reason why he got let go, right, from the Buffalo Bills. That's the reason why they let him walk. So I don't see him as the starting right tackle right now, right? But I'm just saying we picked him up, so he should be in the mix to be on the starting lineup for next year. Okay, on the offensive line, he should be in the mix in the competition. Also, another guy that we picked up was Chris Reed. All right, Chris Reed last year he played for the Jaguars. He was, and the offensive line coach Flattery, coached him last year. That's the reason why he came over, because he was familiar with Flattery, and Flattery knew him, so he probably put in a good word. Said, hey, I want that guy to be on my team. Okay. So that's the reason why we got him. And he wasn't a starter for all the games, but he did start a couple games. And he, when people went down, he did play. And there was, a couple clips that I saw that he knows how to pick up stunts and blitz and things. So he has experience. Now, I don't know if he's going to start on the offensive line. I don't know if he's going to make it. But he's an interesting prospect for this upcoming year's offensive line. Okay, so somebody look out for Chris Reed. He's 6'4", 320 pounds. So 6'4", he's and 320. He's a heavy duty guy, heavy guy. All right, so that's good. And then we got Isaiah Prince, which we drafted in the 5th round, I believe, this year. He came out of Ohio, right? And I think he started off 4 years as well. I think he redshirted his freshman year, and then he started off 4 years. But the thing is that he's always been inconsistent. Excuse me. He's always been inconsistent. And that's the reason why he wasn't drafted higher. Because they say with he's 6'7", 305 pounds. He's a big guy. That's huge, right? But the thing is that he's just not consistent enough. And sometimes he gets beat when he shouldn't get beat, and things like that. But he is a nasty offensive lineman. Like, he likes to hit. He likes to hit. He likes to run people over. I saw that in the highlights that he had, and I liked it. It's more of a consistency type of thing with him. That's why he fell to the 5th round. Because if he wouldn't have had that, he would have been earlier round. But that's his main deal, and not knowing exactly who to block and things like that, right? Which are coachable, right? But these are the 3 guys that I think are. And the reason why I put Isaiah Prince in this is because if Isaiah Prince goes in, he's going in as a right tackle, right? Chris Reed is a guard. The one that came from the Jaguars, he's a guard. Okay? So if Isaiah Prince goes at right tackle, of course Jesse Davis will be the right guard. But let's say Chris Reed, right, goes in and plays really good at right guard. They'll put Chris Reed at right guard and move Jesse Davis over to right tackle. So there might be a couple things that might happen. There's a couple looks that might happen out there. It's just that's why it's a mystery. This is a mystery. Who knows? We're not gonna know until training camp, until people start hitting, all that. Now also they got J-Rod Jones-Smith and Zach Sturrup, but I don't know if they're gonna be in the competition so much. I'm putting these guys, the ones that I just spoke about, more in the competition for right now. But they do say good things about Jones-Smith, so we'll have to look out. I mean, who knows? Like I said, it's a mystery. But I'm thinking these offensive linemen for right now. Okay, and all right. So that's pretty much everything I have for you. Thank you so much for listening. If you want, you can leave a comment or a question down below. And thank you for your time. All right, go Dolphins.